Hey everybody, it's Chris with SirLinksalot, and today we're going to be talking about link relevance. We're going to talk about what it is, why it's good for you, how to check for it, and how to get it. Alright everybody, like always, if you would rather read along than watch the video, you can see the full transcript for this video on our website, along with all of our other learning resources and SEO products. Alright, so here at the beginning of the video, we're going to start things off being pretty general. So don't worry, we're going to go more in depth into all of these concepts and get some hands-on experience looking at links and Ahrefs. So for right now, just sit tight, and if we don't answer some questions that you have about relevance, we will be getting to those hopefully by the end of this video. So relevance means being closely connected or appropriate to something else. So link relevance would be when a backlink coming to your website is closely connected or appropriate for your website. And like on page and content, it lets Google know what your site is about. So, you are making your page relevant for whatever terms by optimizing your content and your on-page SEO. Another way that Google learns about your website and what it's about is from backlinks, and more specifically from link relevance. And now there are two kinds of link relevance, or one for affiliate. The first is location relevance. So if you are running an affiliate site, you probably will not have location relevance on any of your links, or at least you don't really need location relevance. You might actually have some, but you don't necessarily need it. So if we take, for example, a plumber in Houston for a local client, links that have relevance for Houston would have location relevance. And the second type of relevance is topic relevance or niche relevance. So for the plumber in Houston, links coming to his website that have plumbing relevance, those would have niche relevance. And of course, if you have an affiliate site, backlinks coming to your site about your topic, about whatever you're selling, would have niche relevance. So you're probably wondering, how do you know if a link has location or niche relevance? Sit tight, we are going to get to it. All right, so how important is link relevance? The short answer is very important, but we are going to go into things a little bit more in depth than just that. So when you are determining how valuable a link is for you, there are really three things that you want to be looking at, and I refer to those three things as the Holy Trinity. And those are authority, power, and relevance. Authority is kind of like trust. So a site like CNN has a lot of authority in Google's eyes. And so if a site like CNN was to link to your website, it would then pass on that trust and that authority to your website. Now, the second thing is power, and you can think about power as kind of the big push that a link gives you towards hitting your ranking goals. And power is generally determined by backlinks to the linking site's homepage, as well as to the page that you're being linked from. And third, we have relevance, which is what we're talking about today. And so if a website has relevance for something and they are linking to you, it will then pass that relevance onto your site. All right, so which one of these three things is the most important? None of them. They're all important. You need all of them. And you can kind of think about things on a sliding scale. So if a link does not have much relevance for your location or your niche, you want it to have more power or more authority. If it doesn't have any authority, you want it to have more power or more relevance. And likewise, if it doesn't have much power, you want it to have some authority or some relevance. So just think about things on kind of a sliding scale. So are non-relevant links any good for you? Yes, like we just said, if the link is not very relevant, but it has lots of authority or lots of power, the link can still do very good things for your site. Just because it doesn't have any relevance does not mean that it's not good for you. You still need power and you still need authority to help rank for whatever it is you're trying to rank for. But it's also worth noting that it's always better to have relevance in a link than not to have it. So, if you have two choices and let's say both links have some authority, they have some power, but one link has lots of relevance and one link doesn't have lots of relevance, of course, it's always better to take the link that has lots of relevance. We're not trying to say that link relevance is not important. It's just that a link can still do very good things for you from the amount of power and the amount of authority that it has. Also, it's not always possible to get highly relevant links, but you can't have a backlink profile of only non-relevant links. So you probably know by now that you can't only get these highly relevant links. It's just not always possible. The important thing is not to have a backlink profile of only non-relevant links. You need relevant links to show Google what your site is about, what terms to be ranking for, and to make your site or your page more relevant for these terms than the other pages that you're competing against. All right, so far we've been pretty general, but now we're going to start getting more specific about how to actually know if a link that you've got to your website is actually relevant for your niche or your location. So first, how do you make your site relevant? And what we're talking about here is your on-page SEO and your content. And the answer is to make your site or your page relevant for some location or niche keywords, you need to be adding those keywords into some specific locations on your page. And those locations are your domain, your inner page URL, your title, your meta description, your H tags, and your content itself. So if you're adding your location and your niche keywords into these different spaces on your site, your site or your page will become more relevant for those keywords. And you will see that link relevance is actually determined in a very similar way, except that you need to look at these things on the page that is linking to your site. And so more specifically, usually when we're talking about link relevance, we are looking at these places: your anchor text, the context, the title of the linking page, the URL of the linking page, the domain of the linking page, and the backlink profile of the linking site and linking page. So the anchor text is the blue text or whatever color they've made it on their site, but the actual text that you click on when you click a link. So if you have some location keywords or some of your niche keywords in that text, in the clickable text, that makes the link more relevant for those keywords. Next, you have context, and context is the information or the words that are immediately surrounding your link. So Google and the other search engines have got smarter over time, and so they don't only look at just the anchor text, but they also look at the words that are immediately around your link to kind of give some more relevance to that link. Next up is the title of the page that is linking to you. So if there are some location or niche keywords in the title, it passes that relevance onto your site. And then the same thing for the URL and the domain. If there are location or niche keywords in URL or domain, then that makes the link coming from that page to your site more relevant for those terms. So next up, we have the backlink profile of the linking page or site. So if the site or page that's linking to you has its own backlinks coming to it that are relevant for the location or niche keywords that you want to rank for, when that site or page links to you, it will then pass that relevance onto your site. All right, so how do we actually check this stuff? You can pretty much check this kind of thing in any kind of linking tool. I usually use Ahrefs or Ahrefs. I say Ahrefs. But you can use whatever you want. They're all kind of the same. Ahrefs is just the best. That's my opinion. But any linking tool, you should be able to look at these things quite easily. And so we will do that now so you can kind of get a better understanding rather than me just talking about it. All right, so here we are in Ahrefs, and to just kind of continue the example that we started with of the Houston plumbers, I went into Google and I just typed in Houston plumber, and I pulled up the top ranking organic site, which is this abascusplumbing.net site. I've got no affiliation with this site. Like I said, I just went in and pulled up the first site that came up on the organic rankings to go along with our example, because hopefully they're going to have a bunch of relevant links and probably non-relevant links as well that I could kind of show to you. So what you want to do is just go over here to backlinks. And now we've got a list of the backlinks that are coming to the site. And so if you are using Ahrefs, I'll kind of walk you through the process real quick just in case you don't really know how to look at this stuff. But let's look at this second link right here, this AC Repair Houston, Texas. So when you look over at the right-hand side, first you have this blue right here, and it says www.abascusplumbing.net. Now this is the anchor text that they've used, and you can see this has a line going through it, which means that it's a no-follow backlink. Doesn't mean that it's not good, it's just a no-follow link. So for their anchor text, they used Abascus Plumbing, and then you can see this text right here, Metroplex call Abascus at 713 blah blah blah. This is the text or the context that's right around the link. And next up on the left side of the page, you can see in the blue, this is the title of the page that the link is on. And then you have right here the domain, which is YouTube, and then the inner page URL right here. And so like we said, if you get your niche or location keywords in these spots, then it will then pass that relevance or pass more of that relevance onto your site. So to kind of analyze this link really quickly, so abascusplumbing.net, they do have plumbing in their business name, so there's some plumbing relevance in the actual anchor text. And then you have Metroplex call Abascus at blah blah blah. I don't really see much relevance there, but if you click through onto the site, there might be some more that we're just not seeing right here in the tool. Next, we have the title right here. It says AC Repair Houston, Texas. So this is a good title. This title has a lot of relevance in it. AC Repair Houston, Texas, 24-hour air conditioner service Houston. So it's got Houston, it's got Texas, it's got Houston again, it's got AC Repair, it's got 24-hour air conditioner service. So all of these, this is a very good title, and all of these things will be passing on this relevance, making the page that's being linked to, which is their homepage, more relevant for these terms. Now, of course, the domain and the inner page URL, they don't really have any relevance at all. It's just YouTube and some gibberish for YouTube's pages. But, overall, there's still a good link. The title is very good. It looks like they've got some context relevance, and, they've got plumbing in their business name, their domain name. So even though the anchor text isn't like an exact match keyword, because they have plumbing in their name, we do get a little bit of plumbing relevance in there as well. All right, so if we keep looking, looks like all of these are kind of the same. You've got these location, domain. We got location names in the domain names. These are all homepage links. And then the title as well. We've got about a bunch of location relevance, but no real niche relevance. But then when you look over here, it looks like they're using not exactly exact match, but kind of long tail, but highly relevant anchor text. Some pretty good anchor text over here. So let's keep going. More location stuff. All right, so this one right here, this would be a good example of not a very relevant link at all. When you look at the anchor text, it's just got their name. That's all right. They got plumbing in their name. So this is why having a keyword in your domain name is very helpful, because you're always getting that relevance when people are linking to you, even if they don't use exact match keywords. I don't really see any context. We could click through to the site and look at what's around the link, but I'm not going to do that right now. When you look at the title of the page, website list, most useful websites in India, useful websites for students, blah, 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 and then domain big up, and then website list. So as far as we can see in Ahrefs, this link really doesn't have any kind of relevance except in the anchor text. So they're kind of lucky that they have plumbing in their domain name. But we would not say that this is a very relevant link at all. And this is the #1 ranking site for Houston plumber, which is obviously a competitive keyword. So, it's good to see that you do not need all relevant links. It's very normal for sites to get links that are not relevant. So here's another one. So this website, milesringtones.com, Miles Ringtones, ringtone home monitoring system, doesn't seem really relevant. But then they've got, they've got some context right here. It looks like they're talking about best plumbers in Houston, and then they're hitting it with some exact match anchor text here. So, the site and the page that they're linking from, the title, don't really have much relevance, but they've kind of hit it with a little bit of relevance over here. And so a lot of the times when you're getting links, it'll probably be something kind of like this one. They might have some context and some keywords in the anchor text, but they might not have much relevance in the domain or maybe the URL or the title. And that's okay, but it is always better to have that relevance here as well. But like we had mentioned before, just because you don't have that relevance in those spots does not make the link worthless. It could still have a good amount of power or authority behind it. So just to review very quickly again, the places, when you're looking in a link tool like Ahrefs, the places that you can quickly scan to see if a link is relevant for you are the anchor text, which is the blue right here, the context that's right around it, the page title, the domain, and the interpage URL. And the more of these places that you get your niche keywords or your location keywords in, the more relevant that link is for you. So if you remember, there was one more thing that we had mentioned, which was the backlink profile of the linking page or the linking site. So if we really wanted to, we could go ahead and click through to one of these and analyze it in Ahrefs and pull up the backlinks that it has and see how relevant that page's backlinks are for our keywords, which would be Houston or stuff to do with plumbing. But I'm not going to do that now. You could just keep going and look at the backlinks of the site or page. So, every now and then someone will ask me, why is my site not ranking for these terms? I've got all these links and blah, blah, blah. I just can't figure out why I'm not ranking for these terms. I'll come into their site and I'll come check out their backlinks. And you can just do a quick find like this and we'll search for like plum. I'll leave it like that. And you can kind of see over here, they've got all the plumbing. This is just the power of having a keyword in your domain name or your business name. But they've got a bunch of plumbing over here. Look at all this plumbing they have in the pages that are linking to them, the page titles, the domains, and the interpage URLs. And they've got a lot of plumbing stuff. There's a good amount that doesn't have plumbing, but that's fine. And then you could also do a search for the location, say Houston. Not much Houston over here. Here's some Houston, Houston. And then you can even do like Texas, lots of Texas. And these are all actually like Humble, Pearland, Tomball. These are all like suburbs or parts of Houston. But yeah, just as a very quick check, you can come into Ahrefs, use the Control F, or on a Mac it's Command F, and do a quick find. And just you can very quickly look through and see how relevant the links are that are coming to the site. So now that we've checked out that site in Ahrefs, you can kind of see that a good amount of their links had some kind of relevance, whether it was location or niche, maybe some different suburbs. But most of the links had some kind of relevance, maybe not very much. And that just kind of goes to show you that every link that you have doesn't need to be the most relevant link that's ever existed. If you get something in there, something in your anchor, something in your context, it's obviously better to have more relevance, but it's very normal, even for top ranking sites, to have links that aren't relevant at all or just very slightly relevant, which is pretty easy to do, which we'll go into a little bit more in a bit. So I told you that Ahrefs is my favorite linking tool, and it is my favorite linking tool. But the last part that we were kind of looking over, the backlink profile of the site that's linking to you, Majestic and also Spamzilla, which incorporates some of Majestic's API, Majestic can actually do some pretty cool stuff. It's not extremely accurate, but part of the tool, it will kind of tell you what a site is themed for. It'll have some little colors and themes like community or music. It'll tell you what the site is themed for based on the backlinks that are coming to it. And that can kind of be a pretty cool little shortcut. Spamzilla, if you don't know, is a tool that you can use to hunt for auction domains. So if you're PBN hunting. And so if you're using Spamzilla and you're looking at the little majestic part of the data that's coming in for each domain that you're looking at, you can very quickly see if the site is themed for a certain topic based on the information that Majestic is giving you. And like I said, it's not super accurate, but it's a pretty cool shortcut because a lot of the times when you're looking for PBNs or you're looking for domains, when you're looking at just the domain name, the domain name does not always have keywords in it. So you could skip through lots of sites if you're looking for a very specific topic. You could skip through lots of sites on accident that are actually very highly themed with their backlinks for your niche or whatever it is that you're looking for. So Spamzilla and Majestic can kind of help you out with that. But yeah, like I said, it's not super accurate. It's just kind of the starting point. So if you are using those tools, I would still pull up their backlinks as well and check them out yourself. Use the little find method that I showed you to kind of look at the relevance yourself. But yeah, it's a good starting point and good for when you're hunting for domains especially. All right, so now that we know, what link relevance is and we know how to look for it, how do you get relevant links? Get lucky. For some people, this might be a little bit more true actually than others. For example, if you are a very white hat kind of SEO, things are going to be a little bit more out of your control than when you're using some of the gray hat or black hat methods. So if you're just waiting for all of your links to just come to you, if you're not doing any kind of outreach, if you're just waiting for your links to come to you, which is not something I do, you are going to have to just get lucky and hope that some of those links are highly relevant. If you're doing outreach, white hat guys do outreach, but it's not technically white hat, but they do it anyway. So if you're doing outreach and you're looking for some highly relevant links, luck will play a little bit of a part in it. You don't know what these people are going to do as far as their page title. It might be a little bit of luck of the draw as far as what their domain is. They might want to use certain anchor text, or they might want to use, you don't know what exactly they're going to be writing about, or maybe they'll let you post your own article so you can have some relevance in the context, and maybe if you write the article, they'll also let you name the page, so that would be good. All right, so next up is PBNs. One of the reasons that PBNs are so great is that you have complete control over every aspect of the site if you own it. So we'll talk about the PBNs that you own versus the rentals. So if you own the PBN, you can literally change everything about that except the domain. But you bought the PBN, so you might even have the keywords in the domain as well. But every other aspect, the URL, the title, the context, the anchor text, you have complete control over everything. And this is one of the reasons that PBNs are just so great. You can make your link as relevant for whatever it is you want. With PBN rentals, you're probably going to have a little bit less control, but they're generally still pretty good. And when you're renting PBNs, you get to pick like your niche or whatever it's going to be themed for, and you can get some pretty relevant PBNs, but they're not always as relevant as if you own the PBN yourself and you have complete control over everything and you can make it exactly as relevant for whatever. But PBN rentals are still great, and you can still get some highly relevant links, and of course they're going to pass power, which is the other great thing about PBNs. All right, next up we have niche edits and guest posts. If you don't know, niche edits are basically the same thing as a guest post, except instead of having a new article written, your link is just edited into an existing article. And with these things, you have less control than with PBNs. These are real sites, and it's not always in your control for how relevant each of these locations on the page that you want to get your keywords in are going to be. So like we said with Get Lucky, sometimes when you're renting PBNs or you're buying some niche edits or guest posts, a lot of the times you are getting lucky to an extent of what you get with how relevant your link is going to be. Of course, it's going to be relevant because when you do any of these things, you're getting your link placed on a website that's in your niche. But exactly how relevant it is with the domain, the URL, the title, all that stuff, it kind of comes down to luck of the draw some of the time. And it doesn't mean that one is necessarily better than the other. Of course, you always want relevance if you can get it, but it's not always in your control, and it doesn't have to be the most relevant link every single time. All right, so next up we have competitor research, and for that one, we're going to go ahead and hop back into Ahrefs. All right, so here we are in Ahrefs. So let's say you have a client and the client is also a plumber in Houston. So what you can do is you can pull up their top competition and check out the backlinks that are coming to their site. So we're on the same backlink profile for the first plumbing site that we were checking out. So you just pull up the backlinks of your competition, and what you can do is, look at their links and maybe you find one. So let's say you want some relevance for Pearland. So you could say, this is a great link. It's super relevant for Pearland. It's got it in the domain. It's got it in the title. Like I really want a link from this site. Well, you can go ahead and go to the website and try to figure out how you can get a link on that site. There's a lot of different kinds of websites. But so you can just look around the page. There might be some information how to easily apply to get a link on there, or you could just send them an email. Find their contact information, send them a nice email explaining, hey, I saw that you guys linked to this this plumbing company like this on this page, and I was just wondering how I could get a link on your site, the same as what you've done before for other plumbing companies. And then there are ones that you'll be able to create yourself. Let's see if we can find one. Like right here, this one, plumbingweb.com, find plumbing contractors by location, find plumbing. I mean, this is highly relevant right here. It's got a plumbing in the domain, and it's got plumbing in the interpage URL. It's got plumbing contractors and then plumbing web again up in the title. I mean, this is a very highly relevant link, and it looks like what this is a directory. So you could probably go to this directory and get your site listed in there for either free or maybe you got to pay like $5, $10, maybe $15, $20, whatever. You might have to pay a little bit to get into some directories like that, or some sites might ask you for a small fee, but that it could be very worthwhile to you if it's relevant for exactly what you want to be relevant for. And it's pretty easy to find. You can you pull up your top 3 or top 5 competitors in your niche, come and look through their backlink profiles, and you can find a lot of very relevant links to go ahead and get for your client or your site. All right, and lastly, we have using Google search operators to find some of these very relevant pages that you can then go and get your own links on. So I will leave a link in the description of this video, and if you go to the blog post that we have on how to get free backlinks in 2019, and you scroll to the bottom of the page, we have a video explaining how to use Google search operators and a free Excel file download where you can download a ton of Google search operators to help you basically use the Google search engine in a little bit more of an advanced kind of way. So using these Google search operators, you will be able to search for pages that have certain things on them. For example, you can search for pages that have certain keywords in the inner page URL or in the domain, or you can, there's tons of different Google search operators that you can get when you just download this list from us. And you can basically use them to find these very targeted, very relevant pages that you can then go ahead and get your own links placed on. So yeah, that's about it. I hope we've cleared up some of the confusion about link relevance and, made it easier for you to be able to find relevant links and get relevant links and determine how relevant links are that you already have to your website or your client's websites. So that's it. Like always, like, comment, and subscribe. It helps us out a lot. And you can also go to our website to see a bunch more of SEO resources we have for helping you guys learn SEO, as well as products that we offer the community to help you guys rank and make some money and make your clients some money. So yeah, thanks for watching and good luck hunting and getting some relevant links for yourself.